I went to call my mother, but I hovered on the way. A reflex from a different life. Before we said goodbye, there's a little glowing rectangle sitting in my palm. The only place where us is still beautiful and calm. I know I should delete it or change it to your last, but it's the only bridge I have connecting to the past. It's just 10 digits and a ghost on the screen, the shortest ghost story that I've ever seen. I stare at your name like a prayer I can't say, a tiny digital monument that won't go away. I'm one tap away from a wreck or a home, but I'm just a stranger with a cold glass phone. I saw you typing yesterday, or maybe I just dreamed. The 3 little dots were a lifeline, or so it really seemed. I watched them dance and vanish, then the screen went black and dead, just like all the I love yous that were better left unsaid. You're still a favorite in the settings of my mind, even though you're the person I was forced to leave behind. Should I rename you stranger? Should I block the memory out? But I'm still addicted to the hope and to the doubt. If I hit that button, then you're truly, finally gone. And I'm not ready for a world where I'm the only one. It's just 10 digits and a ghost on the screen, the shortest ghost story that I've ever seen. I stare at your name like a prayer I can't say, a tiny digital monument that won't go away. I'm one tap away from a wreck or a home, but I'm just a stranger with a cold glass phone. Your name, it's still right there next to the people who still care. I'll just lock the screen and let the darkness cover the blue of the name in my phone that used to be you. The garden is overgrown, the weeds have won the yard, and finding words to tell you is getting twice as hard. I watch the porch light flicker, then finally go dark, like the way we let the cold air steal away the spark. I was still hauling water, I was still sowing seeds, but you were busy pruning all my hopes and all my needs. There's no shouting match, there's the floors, avoiding my eyes, avoiding the truth, wasting the last of our bittersweet youth. The heartbreak didn't happen when you walked away. It happened in the silence of every okay. It was the shrug of your shoulders, the I don't care, the way you'd look through me like I wasn't there. I could have fought a fire, I could have survived the dying, but I couldn't save a love that gave up on the trying. My heart didn't break when the curtains finally drew. It broke the moment that you stopped trying to. I'd ask about your day, and you give me half a word. The loudest cry for help that you never even heard. I started making dinner just for one instead of two. Before you even left, I was already missing you. You were physically here, but the soul had gone thin, like a house with no warmth or a fire within. Give me a reason, give me a fight, give me a scream in the middle of the night. Anything's better than this hollow find, the slow motion death of your heart and nothing left but the echo. Calendar is lying. It says it's only been a week, but I've aged 1,000 winters in the silence when we speak. I noticed it in small things, the way you pulled away, the I love you that started sounding like a debt you had to pay. Your eyes used to be windows, now they're just shutters closed tight, leaving me to wander through the middle of the night. There wasn't any lightning, there wasn't any rain, just a slow and steady leaking of the blood inside my veins. I was building up our future, I was laying down the tracks, while you were busy packing all the pieces in the cracks. The world didn't end with a crash or a flame, it ended when we were through, it broke the silent moment when you stopped loving me. I'm retracing every memory, searching for the why, looking for the exact second the light left your eye. Was it during dinner? Was it while I was asleep? Was it a secret that you just couldn't keep? You were a ghost in the kitchen, a shadow in the bed, living out a life that had already fled. How do you unlearn the way a person breathes? How do you stay standing when the ground beneath you leaves? I was fighting for a forever that you'd already resigned, leaving me the only one who's being left behind. The world didn't end with a curse or a flame. It ended when you looked at me and didn't feel the same. It was the coldest kind of winter, the frost inside the bone, to be standing right beside you and feel utterly alone. I was still a fire, I was still a sea, but I became a stranger in the place I used to be. My heart didn't break when you said we were through. It broke the silent moment when you stopped loving me. You stopped. And I'm still trying to find the start again, but the air is just empty when you stopped loving me. The tea went cold, sitting on the shelf. I've been talking in circles to myself. The static on the TV is the only sound since you took your shadow off my crown. I left the porch light on just in case. Now it's just a spotlight on an empty space. The stars didn't fall and the world didn't end, but I lost my lover and my only friend. The clock on the wall just won't move away from the moment you told me you couldn't stay. Now I'm haunting this house, keeping ghosts in the hallway, frozen in the midnight of the night you didn't stay. Your keys on the counter, heavy kind of light. I tried to find the wrong to make it right, but the silence is screaming what we both already knew, that I'm still here and there's no more you. I'm tracing the patterns of the rain on the glass, waiting for a feeling that'll never pass. I would have traded my tomorrow for one more good night, for one more moment of holding you tight. But the door clicked shut like a final goodbye, and I'm left beneath an indifferent sky. The stars didn't fall and the world didn't end, but I lost my lover and my only friend. The clock on the wall just won't move away from the moment you told me you couldn't stay. Now I'm haunting this house, keeping ghosts in the hallway, frozen in the midnight of the night you didn't stay. The moon is sinking low, and I've got nowhere left to go. Just me in the shadows, watching the gray of the morning after the night you didn't stay. I didn't know the sky was changing color. I didn't feel the shift inside the air. I was memorizing the rhythm of your breathing, thinking I'd find it everywhere. If I'd known the clock was running out of minutes, I would have held my breath to slow the beat. But I just let the moment slip right through my fingers, like the summer giving way to city sleep. The last time you held me, I didn't know it was the end. I didn't know I was losing my lover and my friend. I would have memorized the texture of your sweater, I would have stayed right there and never let you go. But the world just kept on turning, like it didn't even care that it was the last time I'd ever feel you there. Now I'm retracing the pressure of your fingers, trying to find the ghost of where we touched. It's funny how the things we take for granted are the ones that end up costing us so much. I'm looking back at a grainy, fading picture, searching for a sign I might have missed. But you were just a person saying see you later, with a later that no longer can exist. There was no lightning, there was no rain, a cinematic warning of the coming pain. Just the mundane sound of the hallway door and the weight of a shadow that's here no more. The last time you held me, I didn't no last of you. The front door clicked, a hollow sound. Now my heart is the only thing that's loud. I'm listening for the kettle or your keys in the tray, but the air just swallowed everything you had to say. I used to fear the shouting, the words we throw like stones, but there's a deeper kind of shaking and being this alone. It's the silence after you that's deafening, a ringing in my ears where your voice used to be. I'm reaching for a frequency I can't quite find, tracing every shadow that you left behind. The world is turning quiet like the stars fell through in a long cold silence after you. The clock on the mantle is a hammer in the dark. Every second is a question that leaves a little mark. I'm haunted by the almost and the things we never finished, watching every memory start to feel diminished. I try to turn the radio up to drown out the ghost, but the quiet is the thing that hurts the most. They say that silence is a sanctuary, a place to finally heal, but it feels more like a prison made of things I can't unfeel. I take the anger, I take the tears, I take 1,000 fights just to hear you breathing in the middle of these nights. It's the silence after you that's deafening, a ringing in my ears where your voice used to be. I'm reaching for a frequency I can't quite find, tracing every shadow that you left behind. The world is turning quiet like the stars fell through cold silence after you. Can you hear that? It's the sound of me letting go, one quiet heartbeat at a time. Just the silence, the silence after you. I folded up my feelings in a neat little square, tuck them in a pocket, like you'd still be there. I thought I was fragile, but I thought I was fine. Just a sketch of a life that was yours and mine. But the ink starts to bleed when the clouds turn to gray, and the wind picks up everything I wanted to say. 'Cause I've got a paper heart and heavy tears, trying to outrun all these hollow years. One little spark and I'll turn into ash. One little wave and I'm bound to crash. I'm a delicate thing in a world made of stone, crumpled and blue, and so damn alone. The edges are frayed where you used to hold on. Now I'm just a silhouette waiting for dawn. You can't write a story on a page that's been torn, or find any warmth in a love that's outworn. I'm transparent now, you can't see right through the watermark shape of the ghost of you. I'm weightless but sinking a strange kind of deep, folded in secrets I wasn't meant to keep. If I'm made of paper, then why do I feel like a mountain of lead behind a spinning wheel? Yeah, I gave a heart and heavy tears, trying to outrun all these hollow years. One little spark and I'll turn into ash. One little wave and I'm bound to crash. I'm a delicate thing in a world made of stone, crumpled and blue, and so damn alone. So let the rain fall, let the pages turn soft. I'm drifting away, I'm carried aloft, just a paper heart soaking up the rain, heavy with the weight of a paper thin pain. The coffee's getting cold on your side of the bed, and I'm still replaying every word that you said. I'm tracing the outlines of where you used to lie, while the sun has a nerve to come back to the sky. I'm holding the ghost of a hand in the dark, trying to find where we lost that first spark. I stayed in the hallway, I stayed by the door, waiting for sounds I don't hear anymore. kept every promise, I kept every vow, but the silence is all that is keeping me now. I didn't choose to let go of your hand, I didn't plan for this house to be sad. I was still fighting, I was still rehearsing the way to keep all of these memories from hurting. Now I'm standing here in the worst kind of thirst, watching the bubble we lived in just burst. I didn't leave, no, it's not what I deserved. I stayed for the forever, but love left first. The pictures are hanging, they're still on the wall, but the smiles in the frames feel like they're gonna fall. I'm checking my phone just to see if it's dead, or if you've just deleted the life that we led. How do you breathe when the air is all gone? How do you find a new us to belong? It didn't say goodbye, it didn't come back, it just slipped through the cracks of the flags that we lag. I was willing to bleed, I was willing to try, but you can't keep a fire that's decided to die. I didn't choose to let go of your hand, I didn't plan for this house to be sad. I was still fighting, I was still rehearsing the way to keep all of these memories from hurting. Now I'm standing here in the worst kind of thirst, watching the bubble we lived in just burst. I didn't leave, no, it's not what I deserved. I stayed for the forever, but love left first. I'm still here, waiting in the empty, but love left first. We did everything right by the book in our hands. We built up a castle on the softest of sands. We had the devotion, the fire, the spark. We had a lantern for every dark. I gave you my marrow, you gave me your breath. We promised a life that would outrun a death. But sometimes the gravity pulls from below, and wanting stays stuck while the having must go. 'Cause we would be soaring, we'd still be in flight. We'd be the stars at the center of night. I wouldn't be standing here losing my breath, watching our always get tired to death. We had the passion, the grit and the trust, but the gold in our veins still turned into rust. I wouldn't be It should have been the anchor, it should have been the shield, the only thing stronger than the way that we feel. But sometimes the feeling is a beautiful ghost in a house that is empty and losing its host. 'Cause we would be soaring, we'd still be in flight, we'd be the stars at the center of night. I wouldn't be standing here losing my breath, watching our always get tired to death. We had the passion, the greed and the trust, but the gold in our veins still turned into rust. I wouldn't be saying this goodbye to you if love was enough to pull us both. If love was enough, I'd be right where you are. But the gap in the middle is just a big fight. So I'll love you in silence, I'll love you in vain, in a world where the love couldn't outrun the rain. No, it wasn't enough. The neighbors ask about you, and I lie with a smile. I say you're just away or gone for a little while. But the hallway's a desert, and the kitchen is a tomb, and I can't stop the shadows from filling up our room. I've rearranged the furniture to hide the empty space, but everywhere I turn, I see the ghost of your face. They say time is a healer, that the ache will start to fade, but I'm still standing in the wreckage we made. I'm failing at the moving on, I'm failing at the new, 'cause every road I take just leads me back to you. The world is turning circles, the seasons start to blur, and everyone is whispering about the way we were. But I'm still checking my reflection for the way you used to, like I'm reading the ending of a burned up book. It's a quiet kind of torture, a slow burning blue, to know that you're over me while I'm still loving you. I saw you at the station, you were laughing at your phone, and for a split second I forgot I was alone. I almost called your name out, almost reached to touch your sleeve, but then I remembered that you've already achieved the peace I can't find, the life I can't start, while I'm still carrying your name engraved on my heart. I'm a house with no lights on, a ship with no sail. I'm a desperate prayer that was destined to fail. I tried to hate you, I tried to different views. Spent my Sundays praying you were coming to the same conclusion. I already knew I dressed up my heart, and it's Sunday best just to be the place where you take a rest. But you were always checking the time, like loving me was some kind of crime. I gave you always, you gave me we'll see. I built a kingdom, you built a key, ready to sail when the wind fell right, leaving me anchored in the middle of the night. I was your maybe, I was your if, the safety net at the edge of your cliff. I was the someday that never arrived, the backup plan that barely survived. While you were my definitely, my only one. I was just a shadow when you wanted the sun. It's a heavy kind of lonely, a specific kind of blue, knowing I was your maybe while I was certain of you. You'd call me up when the world got too loud, then hide me away when you walked in a crowd. I was a secret you kept on a shelf while I was losing the best of myself, trying to fit in the gaps of your doubt, wondering what us was really about. You didn't say no, but you didn't say yes. You left me drowning in a permanent guess. I was the wait and see, the not quite yet, the only heart you were willing to bet without ever putting your chips on nowhere. I was your maybe, I was your if, the safety net at the edge of your cliff. I was the someday that never arrived, the backup plan that barely survived. While you were my definitely, my only one. I was just a shadow when you wanted the sun. It's a heavy kind of lonely, a specific kind of blue, knowing I was your maybe while I was certain of you. No more ifs, no more Sundays. I'm tired of being your second choice. I remember the day you started letting go, small cracks in the ice, a quiet kind of snow. You checked your watch while I checked my heart, looking for ways to keep us from falling apart. You were already miles ahead, reaching for the door, while I was still building a house on the floor. I loved you longer than you ever stayed. I kept the fire burning while your colors start to fade. You gave up on us while I was still saying forever. Now I'm holding the ghost of a tie you chose to sever. You stole your devotion and left me this grief. You stopped at the finish. I ran past the line, still claiming a heart that's no longer mine. I loved you longer than you ever stayed. I kept the fire burning while your colors start to fade. You gave up on us while I was still saying forever. Now I'm holding the ghost of a tie you chose to sever. You walked out on the story, but I'm still on the page, loving you longer than the end of the stage. Yeah, the credits have rolled and the coffee's gone cold, but I'm still in my seat in the back of the theater, waiting for a sequel that's never getting clearer. I loved you longer, way past the end. I caught my reflection in the window of the hall, but I didn't see a person, just a shadow on the wall. I'm reaching for a hand that isn't on the other side, living in the wreckage of a heart that's been denied. The bed is too wide and the coffee's too much. I'm a ghost in a body that's lost its sense of touch. I'm walking around like a fractured soul, trying to be one when I'm only a whole. The best parts of me walked right out the door, and I don't even know who I am anymore. It's a hollow kind of mask, a bitter kind of dawn, when half of me's gone because you moved on. 'Cause you moved on. I've got your old sweater and the way you used to laugh, but my life is a picture that's been torn in half. I start a sentence and wait for you to finish the thought, but the silence is the only answer I've got. I'm a map with no legend, a compass that's spun, just the leftover pieces of a world for one. They say time makes you whole, but they're lying to me. How can I be whole when you're the part I need? It's like losing a limb or the light from the sun. I'm just the debris of a we that's undone. I'm walking around like a fractured soul, trying to be one when The floorboards groan like they're missing your step, keeping all the secrets that we should have kept. I haven't moved the pillow where you used to lay your head. It's the only part of us that isn't cold and dead. I keep the window open just to hear the city hum, waiting for a miracle that I know will never come. I'm catching glimpses in the corner of my eye of a silver lining in a dark and hollow sky. I reach out to touch you, but the air is thin and cold. Just another piece of me that's starting to unfold. Now there's a ghost in my bedroom, a shadow in the sheets, the sound of a heartbeat that no longer beats. You're the cold spot in the corner, you're the flicker in the light, the memory that haunts me in the middle of the night. I'm sleeping with the phantom, I'm waking up in tears, trying to outrun the ever-gone wasted years. I can't change the loss, so find a way to set you free. While there's a ghost in my bedroom, staring back at me. Your favorite sweater's hanging on the back of the door. It doesn't smell like home or like forever anymore. It's just cotton and thread and a scent that's turned to dust, like the way our always turned into distrust. I try to close my eyes, but the silence is too loud. You're the storm that's hiding in every single cloud. Are you here to hurt me? Are you here to stay? Are you the price I'm paying for the way you walked away? I'd rather have a haunting than a room that's truly bare. But I'm dying in the hollow of the space you left right now there's a ghost in my bedroom, the sound of real sheets, the sound of a heartbeat that no longer beats. You're the cold spot in the corner, you're the flicker in the light, the memory that haunts me in the middle of the night. I'm sleeping with the phantom, I'm waking up in tears, trying to outrun the echo of all our wasted years. I can't change the lock, so find a way to set you free. While there's a ghost in my bedroom, staring back at me. I'm not alone, but I've never been so lonely. Just me and the ghost. We carved our names in the old oak tree, like we were writing our own history. You told me always, like it was love, the kind of future that we both foresaw. I bought the promise, I signed on the line. I thought your heartbeat was tethered to mine, but the ink started fading, the wood started to rot, and now I'm the secret that you just forgot. I'm looking at the calendar, crossing out the days, lost in the smoke of a permanent haze. You gave me a word that was heavy as gold, but it slipped through my fingers and turned into cold. We built a didn't last. The wedding songs played on a broken old tape. I'm looking for exits, I'm looking for escape, but everywhere I turn, there's a ghost of your grin, reminding me exactly of the state that I'm in. You made it sound easy, you made it sound true, but forever was just a word used by you. Was it too heavy? Was it too much to hold? Did the fire get weary? Did the summer grow cold? You walked out the door with the keys to the life that you promised to me when you called me your wife. When you called me your life. We built a supposed to be a long time. It was supposed to be the end, but the end came way too soon. Forever didn't last. Long echoing piano chords. the cracks in the floor where your boots used to scuff by the pantry door. The radio's humming a low, steady blue, playing that song that I live for with you. I reach for your waist, but my hand hit the air. Just a cold pocket of nothing where you used to be there. And I danced alone in our kitchen tonight, under the hum of the flickering light. Shadows for partners and dust for a crowd, thinking of secrets we whispered out loud. The linoleum's cold and the tempo is slow, since I'm leading the ghost who already let go. Stepped on your ghost when I turned by the sink. It's funny how silence can make a heart shrink. I remember your laugh, how it spilled like the wine. Back when your heartbeat was synced up with mine. Now I'm counting the tiles and I'm losing my mind. In the mess of the earth that you left far behind. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, swaying in place, trying to conjure the warmth of your face. But the fridge starts to buzz and the record just skips, and the I love you dies on my shivering lips. Yeah, I danced alone in our kitchen tonight, under the hum of the flickering light. Shadows for partners and dust for a crowd, thinking of secrets we whispered out loud. The linoleum's cold and the tempo is slow, since I'm leading a ghost who already let go. The music is over, the house is so still. If I don't stop moving, the quiet might kill. So I'll spin one more time in the dark and the gray, in the kitchen where we used to dance.